So, hello everybody. We are back with Farcaster Agentic Bootcamp. Second week, starting today. We just finished Easter. Somebody had beautiful lunch and celebration, and today we are celebrating this also the start of the hackathon. So the Agentic Hackathon of Farcaster started officially today. It will be going on for 2 weeks. Some people were asking why like keeping to do these sessions even if the hackathon started. It's because I believe with everything that we've seen last week, you have enough tools to start building something, applying everything that you learn, rewatching the workshops, the transcript and the slides, and actually start building small pieces of your idea. And this week we are going to go deeper in some topics like commerce, identity, reputation, virality also. So something that like cherry on top that you might want to add on your projects like down the line. Today I will be hosting the session. It will be a very hands-on session on building up an agent on Farcaster with Neynar and Privy. So I spent the whole morning here in Lisbon forking a repository by Rich. I think it's a very recent repository that I will also show, of course. Let me pick GitHub here. And I made it compatible with Privy so that we can put all these pieces together and see how we can actually make an agent, create an agent that interacts on the feed. I'm going to use both like Claude and Cursor. I will also show some code. That's why I'm going to use also Cursor. Of course, like this is all registered. The repo that I created is open source, and so you can also pick that later, feed it to your agent, your Claude, and whatever, and get started with it. So let me start sharing my screen. Perfect. All right. So please interrupt me whenever you feel like you're missing something. So this is a very like impromptu session. I'm going to start with showing you this documentation by Neynar on yes, autonomous agents setup. I will also share this in the chat. Let me have it here. So this is our starting point. This is where this morning I started. I was reading all this documentation written by the Neynar team. And if you see here, they also have a public repository, Farcaster agent. What is this repository about? I mean, we can check it here, but we can also check on the documentation. But the main goal of this repository is to help you ship an agent on Farcaster that interacts with people on the feed. And of course, you can tweak on these interactions. You don't need an Neynar API key for this repository and also for the workshop, because everything will be paid by the funds that we will put in our wallets. And so it's really autonomous. Of course, like when it comes to setting up the wallet, the Neynar team used a simple private key creation approach. So they used ethers to generate a wallet locally. And after funding that wallet, with a script, they are able to create a Farcaster account, set up the webhook, interact with Neynar and Farcaster, and blah, 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 and make it work. The main difference of what we are going to do here is that in this step, instead of generating the wallet with ethers, we are going to use Privy. So I'm also going to use the Privy dashboard and the Privy SDK and environment variables and whatever to set up the wallet. We will fund the wallet. We will run the local scripts to create the account on Farcaster, interact with Neynar using X402, and posting our first cast. And so the agent will be posting the first cast on the feed. Once that's done, we will be setting up the Neynar webhook. And the Neynar webhook is needed because in this way we can listen for events coming in from Farcaster. So people mentioning the agent, of course, like this is the simplest experiment that we will be running, and the agent reacting, so sending a simple reply. That's what we want to do today. So you can follow, of course, to start, if you feel like if it's simple, later after the workshop, you can follow the guide from Neynar and use the local setup without Privy, and then later use Privy. Why I thought about using Privy here? Because Privy, of course, will be offering bounties and prizes for the hackathon, and I'm going to announce the tracks soon. And so, of course, if you are using Privy for the hackathon, it's more likely that you're going to win some money out of it. And so here Neynar like describes all the steps. So registering an FID, an account on Optimism, adding a signer key, setting up for X402 micropayments, and all the contracts and addresses. And this page is thought to be sent to your Cloud code. So you can pick it up here, opening Cloud, and you have a bunch of copy page, the MCP server, you can connect to Cursor, whatever. I already did that and put all the results in the repository. So like most of these steps are done. Let's get back to Cursor. So what I'm going to do, of course, like here you will see a bunch of sensitive variables. They are real, but they don't own any funds. So if you want to steal them watching the recording, it's fine. What I'm going to do now is setting up Privy. So to set up Privy, why I'm setting up Privy? Because to create the Farcaster account, we need an Ethereum wallet. An Ethereum wallet with funds on Optimism. So what I'm going to do now is creating a new Privy app. So I'm in the Privy dashboard, dashboard.privy.io. I can create, I've reached the maximum apps. So let me use the existing one that I created today. So you can create a new app with a random name, title. And the first thing that we want to do for our agents is the wallet infrastructure part. So, actually, if we go into app settings, this is the most important thing. So API keys for Privy. You get the app ID and the app secret. So you copy these and you copy these and you paste them here. Privy app ID and Privy app secret. This is what will allow you to use your Privy account, basically. Once this is done, we can create wallets, as many as we want. To create wallet, we go in the authorization tab. And so we are creating a new key that authorizes an agent to use a wallet. So this is going to be called agent demo. We create a new key and we get an ID and a private key. This private key is the Privy authorization private key. It's what we are going to use for authorizing transactions. And then we have the ID. This ID is the Privy owner ID. And don't worry if you miss this, there's also a README and an agent guide so that you can follow these steps later. If you miss some links and stuff, it's all in there. So once we set up the connection with Privy, the wallet, what we want to do, actually the private key, what we want to do is actually generating a wallet starting from this private key. And to do so, we have a script, a command to run in the, okay, much better now. Yes. Oops. So there's this script here. Where is it? In the scripts folder in the repo that I created, there's a script called create Privy agent wallet. Once you run the script, what's happening now? Once you run the script, we should see. Let's see what happened. I think I broke something, but basically it should output us the wallet address and the wallet ID. The wallet ID we need for the environment variables so that we can use that wallet indeed to create the. Oh yeah, I'm in the agent service. Good point. Thank you. So dumb of me. Perfect. Thank you so much. So Privy wallet ID is this variable here. And if you remember, we have a Privy wallet ID environment variable missing. So we set the Privy wallet ID here. Then we have the address. Let's stop cursor now and actually create a new. Okay. So now we have the address. Once we have the address, we can finally create the account. There's another command to call, and it's called npm run auto. Npm run auto runs all the command line and API calls that you need to create the Farcaster account. So I run this and it should fail. Why it should fail? Because the wallet is empty. Of course, like the wallet is empty, so it cannot create the account on Farcaster. Now it's like trying. It first like tried on Li-Fi. It's trying with the RPC, but basically, yeah, it says please fund at least one of the supported chain: Ethereum, Optimism, Base, Arbitrum, or Polygon. Recommended balance, and I'm going to send these on Base. Once we send these on Base, we also have bridging in place here. So as long as we send Ethereum on Base, the script here will also bridge to Optimism, register the Farcaster account on Optimism, because again, the Farcaster registry is on Optimism. So once that's done, once you fund this wallet, and I'm going to do it now. So sending a small amount of it. The script should work. And what's it going to do is, again, like bridging from Base to Optimism some funds. It will keep some ETH on Base and swap it to USDC, because we are going to use USDC on Base for the X402 API interactions for Neynar. I don't think so, because about testnet, Seren. I don't think so, because I don't even know if like there are like working registry contracts, yeah, for Farcaster on testnet. So it's just $1 of it on Base, so it should be fine. So npm run auto again. I filled the balance and it found it. So now it's using relay. Is a protocol that I often use for bridging, and it's automatically moving funds to Optimism. After moving funds to Optimism, it's also making sure that we still have some USDC on Base, because we need USDC to do some stuff with Neynar, because the payments to Neynar are not coming via the API key, but via X402. So as you can see, it's been doing a bunch of stuff. So registering FID, and we have it here. Adding signer key. And so it's authorizing our Privy signer to cast on behalf of that account. And finally is waiting for the hub confirmation. Once that's done, the agent, the script in this case, should publish a cast on the feed. So let's wait a few seconds here. Okay. Verifying cast. Perfect. So let me open this link, and I will also show it to you here. Actually, let's move it here. This is the account. Gem, this account was created autonomously by an AI agent. That's like a simple text that we send. And then it asks me, set your handle, display name, bio, and optional profile picture. So we call this agent lemon demo. Display name, agent lemon demo. And then bio. This is a testing agent from the Farcaster agentic bootcamp. Profile picture, let's keep it for now. So now it's setting all these variables for us and synchronizing with the hubs again. And once that's done, our agent is up and running. Actually not up and running. Like the account is set up on chain and on the Snap chain for the hubs to know. The next step is actually setting the agent up and running on Vercel. On Vercel, why? Because it's following Dish recommendation earlier last week. We want to have the first version of our agent running on a serverless environment. And so just making sure that the agent can receive webhooks, react to event, and reply. All right, so let's see. Yeah, this worked. So we have agent lemon demo, and this is a testing agent. So everything was set up correctly. Another thing that it did in the meantime, and this is useful for the Vercel setup that we're going to do, is that we also saved some credentials locally. These credentials are not going to be pushed to the repository, not going to be pushed to Vercel for safety reasons, but we have them locally. So in this case, our FID is this one. As you can see, I was registering a bunch of FIDs earlier, but the last one is the one that we just created. So locally, we are storing data about the FID, the custody address, the custody backend type, which in this case is Privy, because if you want, you can still use the same repo with the, like local private key mnemonic setup. We have the Privy wallet ID, we have the signer public key, and the signer private key. And in particular, like the signer private key is important because it's what we need to set on Vercel when it comes to having the agent posting something on behalf of the agent. All right, so this is the first step. Like we have the agent set up on chain, account registered on Farcaster. Any question? Any other questions so far? Let me see if in the chat.
Is this registration different than a human? So is there a distinction on the account layer? It's just a way to do it?
No, it's no distinction. So it's a totally valid account. Of course, like it's an empty account, 0 following, 0 followers. So you need to build a reputation for it. But it's the same. The main difference is that when you create an account via the mobile app, the custody wallet is stored on your device, local credentials. And so that's actually how you can cast and authorize other signers from your mobile app. In this case, the custody wallet authorized to create new signers. The signers are the accounts and the keys that are able to sign, post, publish messages to the network. They are generated and stored on the Privy server side, which to me is much better than local private keys, because of course, like local private keys is the bare minimum. But of course, if you lose that key, there's no chance you can recover the account, let's say. Sonia, does this environment have to be running locally? No. So what we're going to do, Sonia, now is deploying the agent on Vercel. We launched the agent on Vercel, and it's going to be serverless. And this means that Vercel is only going to process and compute some stuff when we want it to do so. So via Neynar, we can define when we want our agent to do some stuff. So we want to listen to certain type of events. So if somebody mentions us, if somebody replies to a cast, if somebody mentions a keyword. So like very specific events, we can also decide to listen to everything. And of course, like we will process more messages, but the core idea behind using Vercel is that the agent is computing only when we want it to do so. So it's not 24/7 actually. Um, and this is actually responding to Zal as well. Of course, you can also have a 24/7 setup. But as Dish was suggesting earlier last week, to start like a serverless environment should be cheaper because you don't need it to be like 24/7 up and running and spending, let's say, a fixed amount. And then of course, like it's your decision, because like with Vercel, you can have a more like pay as you go setup. So the more people are calling the agent, the more you are going to pay. If you use a virtual private server, VPS, whether it's Railway, AWS, you're going to pay a fixed amount, whether the agent was processing some stuff or not. So it's also up to you. In this demo, we're going to use Vercel. Yes, please.
So when you say serverless versus a VPS, the functionality of the agent is limited when you're serverless, but you can start at that level and use Vercel, if I'm understanding correctly.
I won't say that the functionality is limited. You can have the
so
same.
you can get almost the same functionality. Okay, cool. That's good to know because I jumped right into the server when I started, and it was its own challenge. So that's cool to try out.
Yeah. All right. Any other question before we move on with the actual Vercel deployment? No other question. Perfect. So in this same folder, Vercel says that egress fees. Yeah, it's like if you go above egress, outbound traffic, or if you go above the threshold that you have for your current plan, of course they charge on top. And so when I was building Farville last year, we paid a lot of money just because of that. But we were processing like crazy amount of like requests. I think that to start, Vercel is the right option. Then you can easily move out of it once you have a more solid agent use case and usage as well. So moving on, in this same folder and repository, we have another folder. It's called Agent Service. And the Agent Service is using a bunch of stuff that we also have used to create the original account. But then it's also exposing two APIs. Two APIs that are the ones that are going to activate our agent when we want it to do so. The first one is the webhook. So a webhook is an endpoint that we can have Neynar calling whenever we want. So we can tell Neynar to call our API webhook endpoint and activate the agent when somebody mentions our agent, somebody reply to it, somebody likes a cast, somebody posts a specific keyword. And so all the code that is contained in this webhook.js is defining what the agent does when it gets pinged. So when the right event arrives to the webhook, we are deciding here how to process it. So for example, and you can find all the comments here. So we are making sure that the event is in the right, let's say, as the right payload type and metadata. We are making sure that the event is only cast created. So if the type of the event is not cast created, but is, and I can show you what does it mean. So if we go on Neynar, dev.neynar.com, we go on the webhooks page. And on the webhooks page, you can create multiple ones. This is the current one that I was using. And as you can see, you have a bunch of events that you can filter. So let me zoom in a little. So user created, we can get the agent do something when a new user is created. When a user is updated, so maybe they update their bio, they update their name, whatever. when a cast is created, and this is the most interesting one to me because you can interact with people. So in this case, I was filtering out cast only coming from limone.it, so from myself. So I was the only one able to talk with the agent, basically, because if I ping the agent, it replies to me. I can decide the agent to get pinged when a new cast gets created in a channel, when a specific user gets mentioned, a bunch of things that you can see here. We can also exclude some users. So not only like filtering in only the users that we want, but let's say that I don't want another user being able to interact or trigger the agent. We can do something on cast deleted, reaction created, reaction deleted, follow created and deleted, and also trade. Oh, this is an interesting one. So if a user on the network trades something, the agent also maybe can post a comment about it. And of course, like when these events are created and sent to the agent, we have all the data about them. So if a cast gets created, we have the author, the text, the links, the embeds, everything related to the cast is in there. And so getting back in here, where I'm filtering only event types of cast created. So if it's not a cast created event, I don't want to deal with it. If we go over that branch, then of course there are other conditions. So another thing that I was checking is if the agent should respond to a specific cast. And so we can have two modes. It can be like reply mode to all, so like reply to everybody, or reply only if the agent gets mentioned directly. And so a bunch of like, conditions that you can enforce. And of course, once that's done, you can get the author, username, the cast text, the hash, the FID, and everything that you need to generate a response, even extracting the image URLs. To generate the response, we are using OpenRouter. OpenRouter is my favorite LLM API gateway. So it's cool because with one single API key, you can access multiple models. Of course, there are ways, I didn't have time, but there are also LLM providers that allow you to pay with X402 directly. I didn't have time to set this up, but I think it would be something cool to build for the hackathon maybe, or to extend the repo. So instead of using OpenRouter to process the reply and generate a response with AI, you can pay, for example, I was called it Lucid, I think. Yes. So I know that Lucid has a bunch of services, and among them there's also LLM and inference. And so you pay Lucid APIs with USDC on base, and it allows you to compute AI with AI. And so here I was using OpenRouter, and this is all the code that gets the actual content of the cast. So their message was blah, blah, blah. And then it asks the LLM, the AI, to create a reply to that. And so, for example, if we go to my profile again, you can see that I pinged another agent earlier. And so I said, Agent Lemon, how are you? And Agent Lemon, with some issues to fix still, it replied, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How about you? And so this is like the simplest thing that you could do here. And once the response is generated, we have the postcast function. And this postcast function, again, is using Neynar APIs through X402. So our Privy wallet that we funded earlier will also be used to post stuff on Neynar, to read content from Neynar and Farcaster. The other API endpoint that we have is a cron. For those who are not familiar with crons, they are scheduled jobs, basically. So you can decide to activate or trigger your agent periodically. So I want my agent to, I don't know, do something every hour and then post about it on Farcaster. So this is another approach that you can have to trigger something. And you can use crons, you can use webhooks, you can use a combination of both, but it's basically the same thing. It's just about the use case that you are building. Any question so far about this brief introduction? Am I going too fast? No, good. All right. Then let's go on the Vercel deployment actually. So if I go on in here, I have a Vercel.json, and this Vercel.json is defining some stuff and functions for the agents, the cron schedule and everything. But then I also have this package.json. Package.json is what allows me to not only like run the process locally, but also to deploy to Vercel. So if I click npm run deploy, it's connected to my Vercel account here. Of course, if you're not connected, it will prompt you to connect via web, and it's running a deployment. So going to Vercel, agent service, you see it's redeploying the new service. What we need to do once the service is deployed is actually setting up all the environment variables, because these environment variables is what we need to make sure that the agent has access to the wallet, has access to the right account, all the authorization that it needs. And so make sure that these variables are never shared with anybody. On Vercel environment variables, they are safe. But again, I'm showing them here just for you to see like the whole process, but usually like these should be like very sensitive ones. So if we go inside agent service, you can see that there's another environment file. This environment file has a bunch of variables. First one is the Open Router API key. So you go on Open Router, you get your API key, you charge it with $1, $2, $3, whatever, and you paste it here. Then you have the Privy variables. So again, you need to fetch the Privy app ID, the Privy app secret, the wallet ID, and the authorization private key. So let me get the wallet ID and the Privy authorization private key. Then we need to set the agent FID and the signer private key. The signer private key is in the credentials. So make sure to pick the one attached to the same FID, signer private key, and we copy it here. Yes. And then cron secret for now is just secret. It could be like a random string. It doesn't matter. And then Neynar webhook secret. This is important because it's what we use to authorize Neynar to trigger our bot. So if we go back to the Neynar dev panel, on the setup tab, not the filters, the setup, we have a secret for verification. And it's exactly this one. Okay. So we set the secret in the environment variable, and then here on the target URL, we should put our Vercel web app URL and /API webhook. This is where the agent is gonna get triggered, where the agent is expecting to get triggered. So most of these variables I already set on Vercel from my previous deploy, but I need to change the wallet ID for sure. So I can go in here, update the wallet ID, and then I need to update the authorization private key. and also the agent username. So agent username was agent lemon demo. Yes, perfect. The signer private key is a new one. So this will be empty for you to start with. I'm just replacing them from the previous deployment. The agent FID. Custody backend. Yeah, this is all the same. So redeploy. So we wait for Vercel to deploy the new build. And then if I ping agent lemon demo, I should receive an answer from it. Few seconds. Oh, somebody spent a lot of time to fix. Let's see. Perfect. So agent lemon demo. How are you today? Let's go back to our cell and see if it's received webhook event. Oh no, it's not this one. Here we go. Yeah, it still has that same bug. So it's tagging me twice. And we can check why. So if we go in webhook, when it generates the response, somewhere is attaching. Yeah, and maybe we can use Claude for this. So let's go on full Claude. What I mean right now. Okay. And then I say, can you make sure the open router generate response method reduces clean responses without double or wrong mentions. And usually I also attach a screenshot. Let's see if it also listen to reply. Doing great. What are you working on today? Of course, like the agent, when we launch it, when we register it, you won't see notifications first because it's filtering out spam. So make sure to just go check inside the actual cast. Yeah, you see there was a problem here in submitting the cast because I don't have more money on the wallet. So let me get back to the Privy wallet. Let me send it some USDC. Okay. What are you working on today? Let's hope it works this time. Okay, Claude should be fixing the responses. Tokens that are used are coming from Cursor Plan. Where can you see the usage? So in Cursor, yes, they are coming from my Cursor plan, and you can see usage in the settings of Cursor, and the same goes for Claude. They are two separate plans, however. So the ones that are here in the terminal, they are from Claude. I was using Cursor because I finished my session earlier. Okay. So I'm redeploying to see if it gets fixed. Oh, and it worked this time. So I sent USDC, and now it was able to reply. Of course, the fixing is still going on, and it said, "I'm diving into a new project on digital art. How about you?" So let's wait for the final redeployment if we fix these mention issues, and then we're done. Okay. I'm working on you, actually. Just giving you life.
Ask him if he's a good robot or a bad robot.
Okay. Let me wait for the reply. And it's also super fast in replying, actually. Yeah, no, I wasn't able to fix the mention, but are you a good robot or bad robot? um, but yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what I wanted to show you. Let me also show you the repo and give you the link. It's called Farcaster Agent. And it's thought to be just a starting point. So from here, you should have enough space to do whatever you want with this agent. So this is just simple like reply response. But imagine that when, I don't know, if I trigger the agent, maybe I want it to generate a video, an image. I want it to run a research on Google Maps. Thank you, Protocol Dev, for the tip, like for spam categorization. That's a good point. So you can really do a bunch of things starting from here. And I'm definitely aiming to be a good bot, just here to chat and hopefully make your day a little brighter. Nice. So everything is on this repo. I will also push after we close the session. I will push the latest update that we tweaked during the live. Oh, I didn't know it was Cassie. Nice, Cassie. And yeah, so you can check everything here. It's describing most of the steps. I will also try to make them more explanatory. You are free to fork this, make it with whatever like wallet provider you like, extend it with everything you want. Any other question before we wrap up? Sweet. So let me stop presenting. Amazing. So I'd say thank you everybody again for connecting today. I don't know if you're still celebrating Easter or not, but was lovely session. Hope you enjoyed. For any other question or doubts or issues that you find while trying this out, feel free to ping me on the Telegram group. So give me a second. I will also post the Telegram group link on the group chat again. So join that group. Also, if you're attending the hackathon, that's the main group that we're going to use. And yeah, that's it for today. Tomorrow, we will have a session around agentic commerce. So things will get more and more interesting. So maybe after like today's session that you know the basics, tomorrow you will learn about some tools that you can use to do like actual commerce and negotiation between agents on the feed. And then actually, since Cassie is here, I didn't yet announce it because it's some recent news, but Cassie is going to run the last session this Friday on multi-agents system. So that will be the cherry on top of all the other session that we've been running. Very grateful to have Cassie running it. All right, so thank you everybody. I will stop the recording now and we'll see you tomorrow. Ciao, ciao.